So this is one of our vacuum boosters, and some lines are coming into it, and it looks like they're shooting a little bit, which usually indicates that there's some leaks on it and there's extra air in the lines. So if you can see the bubbles here in the line, this is about how fast they should be moving, which they're not really, but that's about right. So this line, the bubbles are moving pretty fast. I don't know if you can tell. So which means there's probably a leak on this line. We'll walk up it and check it out.
So right now Anna is checking to see if the bubbles are still moving fast. If the bubbles are still moving fast, that means the leak is still further up the line. But if the bubbles are still, that means that the problem is this tap right here.
And they're moving fast, so we'll keep going. So they're not moving right here, which means it's probably this tap.
You want to show us what you're doing?
And right here we're checking to see if it's this drop line right here, and so we make a loop in it to see what the bubbles are doing, and they're moving fast. So either it's a loose tap or a hollow tree, so we'll pound it in and see if that makes it stop. I don't know if you can see, but the bubble's not moving anymore, so that was the issue, was a loose tap. Okay, so these bubbles are moving a little bit more, but I wouldn't walk up the line for that.
Okay, so here we found a very small leak. You notice that the bubbles are staying solid. They're not breaking, but they're still moving quicker than we'd like them to be. But we're going to leave that line alone. There's a very small leak on it, but we don't think that's worth pulling a tap out and losing a tap for the winter for. So we're going to leave that line alone.
Right here's the bubble, and it's not moving, and so that means that there's no leak on it, so we'll keep walking. Okay, so this line had a leak on it, and so we're checking our drop lines to see which one was the one that was leaking. And the bubbles are moving fast on this drop line, which means it was a hollow tree or a loose tap. Well, I'll pound the tap in to see if that makes it stop. And it actually, it did stop it, so it was a loose tap.
So here's another good example of a good line with no leaks. You can see all the bubbles moving really slowly. The bubbles aren't breaking, so there's a good line.
Okay, so this line, you can see the bubble right here, and it's not moving. It's perfect, so we'll go on to the next line. This one, these bubbles are breaking and they're moving really fast, so we'll have to check this one out and see what's wrong with it. Okay, at this point, the bubbles are fine, but right here, they start going fast, and the line is leaking. It got pulled too tight, so I'll put a connector in and fix that. Here's the tubing I cut out. You can see it was stretched a little bit thin from somebody pulling on it or something. There was a little hole right there. So that's why it was leaking. Now this line, the bubbles are good, so we fix the leak. So here we have a line that the bubbles are moving too fast, so we're gonna walk up it. It could be a loose tap or a hollow tree, but we'll just go see what we find. Right here we see the bubbles are still moving pretty quickly. So we'll keep walking up. Then right here, if you can see on this side of the T, they're not moving fast. Then on this side they are, so which means it's either the T or the tap. which if you look up the drop line here, you see the bubbles are moving fast. So it's either a loose tap or hollow tree, and I'll pound the tap in and see if that makes it stop. Not really, so it's most likely a hollow tree, so we'll pull the tap off and give it a rest for the year. See there, the bubbles, they're not moving real fast. And sometimes it takes a little bit for them to catch up when you pull the vacuum off like that, but so that means we got the leak. So this one's good, the bubbles aren't moving, they're just the way we like to see them. Same with this one. Now this line's a different story. We can actually hear the leak down here, and I don't know if you can capture it in the video. It's kind of wispy like, and if it's wispy like that, it generally means a bigger leak, like a broken T or maybe a tap that's really loose. So we'll go investigate it and see what's wrong. And as you keep going up the line, just keep checking your tubing, and you can make a belly in it like that, and to see if the bubbles are still moving pretty fast, and they are. So you need to keep going up the line. Make another, I don't know if you can see the bubbles are still not even forming, they're breaking, so. Okay, so I don't know if you can tell, but the bubbles right there are moving really fast, or they're not even forming really. And the bubbles in the drop line are fine, so that means the leak is between here and there. And it looks like we have a T that is broken right there. And sometimes in the end taps, this one has a plug on the one side since it's the end line. They have more stress on them, so they're more apt to break. So I'll just fix that here. And our T's, I don't know if you can see, the one side is blind, so that that one has a hole and that one does, but that one's blind, so that the sap can't go all the way around the tree. It stops right here at the tap. There we go. We'll see if we can get some sap in the line to see if... I don't know if we're gonna... We'll go up here. There's more sap. Need more trees. We can go back there. Yeah, right here we got a bubble that it's the same line that we just fixed, and now there's no extra air in the line. It's just a perfect bubble. You can see it. Okay, so this line there's no bubbles that are visible, so we'll make a belly in the tubing and see if we can get some sap to form a bubble. And I don't know if you can see, but the bubbles aren't forming, so there's a leak on it. We'll go see what it is. And pretty much after every tree or every 10 feet or so, I'll stop and make a belly in the line just to see if we're above or below the hole. Well, right here you can see the sap there's perfect bubbles and they're not moving. to this point, and I think there's a little nick in the tubing. I don't know if you can see that. So I'm guessing that's probably our issue. So I'll put a connector in and see. The bubbles, it's taken them a little bit to slow down, but eventually they get there. See, they're perfect. Here we have some bubbles that are moving too fast, so we'll see what the problem is. And looking down the line, we can see the end tap, that the top is off the one. So it's probably a hollow tree. We'll go check it out and see. Here the bubbles are moving fast from that T that comes into this tree here. So we'll pull it, plug it off. There we go.